information or opinions expressed by the host, co-host, and or guests on this podcast do not necessarily represent or reflect the views of our company, our sponsors, and advertisers. Please consult your attorneys, CPA, or business owners, advisors before making any business decision. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. This is Small Business Stand-Up. Coach Jay, I'm your host, and I got a couple of co-hosts with me here. So I guess you would say from top, what I always say, from left to right, from top to bottom. Tell us your name, what do you do, where you logging in from.
All right.
Well, I guess it would be, you
I
guys know.
almost say I always get confused when you can do this top to bottom life investor right there.
Let me switch it over because you're going to highlight it in a minute anyway. So go ahead, Ms. Danielle.
All right. I'm Danielle MacArthur, owner of DCDR Solutions. I am originally from Cleveland, Ohio, but I'm logging in from beautiful Birmingham, Alabama.
Dope. All right. Go ahead, Rich.
Yes. So, hello, everybody. My name is Rich Williams. I'm in the DC metro area, and what we do is we train people how to be successful in the foreign exchange market. And so I do some training, I do some education, some motivational speaking. I'm really passionate, man, about helping people succeed and win in life.
That's dope. We need more you, man. All of us, really. You know what I'm saying? That entrepreneur spirit. So, hey, look, this is what I normally do, man. I don't really. Oh, we got some. Let me log these guys in real quick before we really get started here. I think everybody be a part of this part. All right. All right. Hey, Rich, tell us what you do, Rich, and tell us where you're logging in from.
You want me to tell it again?
No, Rich. Yeah, go ahead. Not Rich, I'm sorry. KC, go ahead and tell us what you do and where you logging in from, KC.
Sure. Hey, hi, everyone. My name is Ejindu, and I'm with Cashapp Lending. What I do is I'm a commercial loan officer. I help folks with funding deals and being able to get funding they need for real estate transactions. I'm also in the capacity as a real estate investor as well. So I also do real estate deals ranging from multifamily, single family syndications. I do a lot on the mezz debt. I can kind of help people with understanding how to use other people's money to kind of get yourself funded in real estate. So that's my expertise.
All right. You next. How do you pronounce your name one more time?
Allahme.
Allahme. Okay, nice to meet you, finally.
Likewise.
Tell us where you're calling in from.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. It's nice to be here to meet you all. My name is Allahme A Dixon, and I'm calling from Rancho Cucamonga, California. And I am the CEO of Credit 909. And what we do here is we help entrepreneurs establish their businesses from the infancy stages, EIN, fictitious business names, so on and so forth, that will put them in a position to propel, first of all, and pass any red flags, and also help them put them in a position so that they can qualify for funding. We help them start off with their net 30 vendors on to credit lines and line of credits and things of that nature. So not only we help entrepreneurs, we also help individuals challenge things on their personal credit. So that's just a little background on what we do.
Well, welcome, guys. Welcome. So what I like to do is really kind of jump right into this thing here, right? And so this is what I'm calling put a finger down edition, right? So I want everybody to put their hands up. This is the entrepreneur, right? So everybody want to be an entrepreneur, right? Let's see how bad you really want to be an entrepreneur, right? So let's do it. Put a finger down if you ever damaged a relationship trying to be an entrepreneur. All right. Put a finger down if you ever forgot to eat. Wow. All right. Put a finger down if you ever. Say it again.
What was that? Are you blanked out?
Okay.
I didn't hear you.
If you forgot to
down
eat.
if you ever
Lost
put a finger
what?
down if you ever. Okay, so put a finger down if you ever lost sleep in the day. Like if you just lost, you just forgot to sleep that day. You worked so hard, right? That you put in 23 hours, right? You didn't even get no sleep in. All right, put a finger down if you ever forgot to eat.
Oh, yeah, that's
That down.
Put a finger down if you ever worked hard, even if you were sick. Put a finger down if you ever worked on a holiday.
hands out.
Put a finger down if you ever act like you had it all together and you didn't.
I have 5
Put a
fingers.
finger down. Put a finger down if your friends think you are the strongest one, but sometimes you feel weak and they don't want you. Put a finger down if you don't eat right. That's an entrepreneur.
Man.
And that's all the fingers you got left? That's all the fingers you got left, bro? Okay, all right. Put a finger down if you don't exercise like you know you should. Because of your business.
Look, man, I feel like I'm being attacked right now.
What time is right? All right. Put a finger down if you feel like you don't have enough time in the day. Put a finger down if you didn't attend one of your children's functions and you know you should have because of this business. Now the question is, I ain't want to put y'all on front street like that, but the question is, why again you want to be an entrepreneur? Question to everybody. So the reason why I say that is this. Everybody. And I'm gonna tell you guys the reason why I say that. Okay. Question to everybody, why do you want to be an entrepreneur again?
Siri here. Let me know if I can help.
Sorry, turn my phone off.
Yeah, we need some help, Siri. Well, I can say, Coach.
Go ahead.
For me, you know, in lieu of the questions that you asked, for me, at the end of the day, it's the freedom that I'm paying for some future lifestyle, right? Like, so my vision, I go to the end of my life, I go to the end of 3 years, I go to the end of 5 years. What does that look like? What does it take to get there? And so all of these things that I have gone through in the past to get to this point was because of the freedom and the lifestyle that I decided to live, not only for me, for my family, those people that I have impact on.
I like that.
Okay.
Well, for me, I'm a big Jim Rome fan. He's one of the motivational speakers, and something he says that resonates with me, and that is, if the price is bigger, the prize is bigger, the price is easier. So for me, I look at it as my prize is, you know, I have a grand prize that I'm going after. So the price to pay, which is things that you asked, is an easy price for me to pay because I know what I'm going to get in the end.
I'm going to go ahead and jump in and say I'm doing all of those things for me instead of doing it for somebody else. And that is worth every single one of those things because it's like Rich said, it's a longer goal, it's a longer game, but at the end of the day, and then tie it back to what Casey said, it's a longer goal, but the prize is so much more worth it than doing all of that for somebody else.
I agree. I'm gonna go ahead and interject myself. Me, it's for several reasons. First of all, for the freedom to be able to maneuver and do what I want to do. For health reasons, I'm a lot healthier now. The stress from the corporate, the anxiety from the corporate, have subsided. It's and spending more time with my family. I have the flexibility to spend time with my family now. So for several reasons, and I wouldn't trade that in for nothing in the world.
Love it. And see, here's one of the reasons why I actually posed that. I did that. A lot of entrepreneurs think like you're going to be able to get everything you want every time you want it as an entrepreneur. The fact of the matter, you not only just have one boss, but you have multiple bosses now, right? And sometimes it's really demanding. And sometimes you have to push things back in order to win the line, right? And you can't make every. That's not how it is. Once you get to the point to where you can kind of, delegate, do some different things, whatever. Of course, you can make it a lot more, you can be a lot comfortable. But especially when you first start off, it's gonna be some stuff that you miss. You know what I'm saying? So anybody looking to be an entrepreneur, understand it's not easy, but it can be rewarding, especially in the end if you do this thing right. You know, if you do it right, you can definitely, and you can buy other people time so they can do stuff that you don't want to do. Or you can leverage other people's time. They can do stuff you always want to do. But another thing too, just because you have a 9 to 5 don't mean you're gonna be able to attend all these different functions neither. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to put in that time, about 2 weeks in advance, and your boss may tell you no. So you got to kind of weigh that thing. All right. Any questions about that? Any more comments about that?
No, it's.
Did I miss anything?
No, I mean you're spot on. Everyone is spot on, and I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and Robert Kiyosaki talks about the 4 groups where cash flows, right? And 60% of the population they're unemployed. 35% are self-employed. In other words, we went out as entrepreneurs, we bought a job for ourselves. But then he talks about the 1% that are investors and the 4% that are business owners. And that's the end goal. I mean, you start out as an entrepreneur, maybe you're a serial entrepreneur, you got passive income from different streams, but ultimately is to get to a place where we have that passive income or we have a business, which means we have people and processes in place. And that exchange of time, then we can use it and we can allocate that in other areas.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the key, right? You want to get to that position to where you can put somebody to do the things that you really don't want to do. But it may take you a while to get to that point, right? It may not happen overnight. But you have to understand, look, you can't be adding to all people, you can't be everywhere at one time, right? So you have to see what's the most important at that time, and you got to adapt accordingly. Maybe you send somebody, to be there with them at this particular basketball game because you can't be there and cheer just as much as you want to cheer. The next time you may be able to be there, so at the championship game or whatever the case is. So entrepreneurship, man, it's another beast. But once you get this thing down, man, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. Hey, Miss Sheila, how you doing?
Hey, Jay. Hey, everybody. How is everyone?
Hello.
Hey.
All right. So next question here. All right, I'm gonna blow this thing up here. Y'all see that?
Yes.
What are the pros and cons of using life insurance as an investment? What are the pros and cons?
That's a good question.
I'm jumping. If you don't have a plan,
are there any pros?
If you have a plan and a real plan to get that money back, then it's a pro. If you ain't got a plan, it's a con because you only hurting yourself. Long story short. So, I mean, if you can flip it and make it worth it, do it. But if you're just doing it just to try to go off on a hope and a dream or something, it's only going to bite you, and it's just going to be like another loan.
Yeah, and I agree.
I would probably say a little different. I would probably say a little different when it comes to life insurance, right? So there's 2 ways to look at it. One is life insurance can be an asset if you're using it, if you're going to leverage it for lending purposes. So, for example, I know that you have some type of life insurance that you can use that will provide you some kind of return, right? Like those cash options that you can take advantage of for like down the road. Those are good for those individuals who are looking at, being able to get some cash down the road in their life. But for me, I look at life insurance as an asset, because when you're looking at providing lenders information, for example, there's something they call a personal financial statement. Your personal financial statement includes your life insurance as part of an asset. So, for example, if you have $1 million life policy, even if it doesn't have a cash option, if it has, as long as it has a death benefit, you have the ability to also leverage that life insurance policy and use that towards purchasing potential asset down the road. So again, it's a good thing to use, but again, it just depends on how you look at it. Just my opinion.
Right. So what about the con part of it? Well, I mean, I know Ms. Danielle was talking about as far as losing everything. You make that wrong investment, you possibly paying on a price that's not really worth anything because already leveraged that and lost. So you definitely have to treat that thing like like it's really money. not like you at the casino, you're just flipping chips or whatever the case is. It's real money. So yeah.
Well, I think that I think you bring up a point. How can you use your life insurance policy? Like, can you use it as an asset? I don't think that when people go out to sell their, life insurance in general, I don't think that a lot of entrepreneurs know that it's an asset and it's something that they can leverage and use, for loans or as an asset for their business or for themselves, right? And so I think it's really how are we educating people about, the importance of life insurance, that it's not just like a death benefit, right? It can be used in so many different ways, like Danielle said, with the right plan and with the right, financial plan or leadership involved. So.
It's definitely
important.
And
I like your point. Yeah, and I like your point, Ms. Sheila, because you're right. I think the biggest issue that we experience is education. And because of the lack of education, a lot of us don't even know that there's so many things we can leverage, that everyday things, right, that we can leverage and use those things to increase our net worth. So to your point, life insurance is something a lot of us would look and think, death benefit. And I can talk about a personal example. Like my mother passed away and she refused to get a life policy because she thought that was an admission of death. So, right. But the idea behind life insurance happens to be taboo in our community because people think that if we were to, start looking at life insurance policies or writing wills or, putting things in trust, then what you're doing is you're admitting that there's going to be, potential end to life for that person, but that's not always the case. So yes, to your point, I think if we get educated, we can understand how we can leverage these resources and help us grow our portfolio.
Right. And I think we had this conversation early on in a couple of other shows of, life insurance is the first bill that people tend to let go to the wayside. And why is that? Because you really don't know the value that you can use as an entrepreneur or a small business, even getting a life insurance policy, right? You can use this as an asset or leverage for your business, Well, if you need to take a loan out and things like that. And I just think that, like you said, KJ, Casey, we need to really educate ourselves, on all of the benefits that planning for our life will give us and bring us.
It's important, man, that we think that way, man. Like I said, a lot of us think it's taboo to think about stuff like that, man. But that's the best way. That's the way that people become financially free, man, or become millionaires a lot of times, right? By putting these policies in place. So when grandma or grandfather or whoever passes, whoever can get money to pay for their funeral, to go fund, be able to invest that money to something else, right? So that way you're not suffering twice. Big mama passed. Now we got to find a way to bury Big mama too. You know what I'm saying? We got to sell some fish.
And I hate that because that's the only guarantee in life is that it's going to end. Mm-hmm. So, there's no other guarantee. We don't know what's going to happen, but we know this train going to stop. So why would you not protect the next generation. We got to start talking about it more and getting people to understand. Like you said, it's not a curse.
Right.
Things happen every day. And I mean, I've talked with a lot of life insurance people, military people. You never know when something's going to happen. So we got to change that stigma.
And the reason that came up for me, truly, Danielle and Casey, is because I have that sheet that you're talking about, and I have my homes on there, and I have all of my equipment on there, but I do not have my life insurance policy on that sheet, right? Like, I'm like, oh, wait, that's something I need to go do because I don't have it on there. I didn't even know. Like when you said, I'm like, oh, that is an asset, right? Like I should go back and do my balance sheet and put that on there, right? But I have everything else, but I don't have that on there.
Yeah, and I guess my last point to this is when it comes to our wealth is determined by our ability to pass it on, right? So when you think of those of us who have families and children, if you notice that some people kind of get started with an advantage, and some people don't have the advantage. And the reason why some individuals, especially, a different community might have the advantage is because they have the education, to Miss Sheila's point. And then two is they have that asset that they get started with, for example, college funds, because these are all tied together, right? College funds is 529As, it's life insurance policies, are things that we should be starting for our children. Because if we give our children these options when they get older, they now have the ability to pass it on, right? So there's a saying that they say, great men, or just something about like why strong men create good times, and good times create weak men, and things, something like that. Well, in order for us to even get to that point, we have to at least have a starting point, and that's what a life insurance policy would do, and that's what a college, 529 and these kind of investments would do for our future.
Excellent. Anybody want something on that? All right. So after this question right here, we'll go ahead and highlight you here. All right. So I have another one here for you. It's a good question, man. What do you guys think about this one? I posted this a while ago and got some different feedback from it. Would you rather control real estate or own it? And why?
What do you mean?
What's your definition or control?
What's your definition of controlling it?
Yeah.
Well,
what's your definition
of controlling it? Well, okay, so let's say if you're doing if you're a wholesaler, right? We can put an Airbnb. We can negotiate with the seller to turn it into an Airbnb. So I never really actually have to own this property, right? So basically what we do like a master lease option on a commercial property, like say 10 units. And now every unit in this property, I'm able to lease it out to somebody else for a fee. So let's say this apartment complex is each unit is $1,000, but I can turn around and rent it out now for $1,200, and I don't really actually have to own this property, and I make the money off this property. So I'm controlling it. Does that make sense? Or do I need to kind of explain that again?
Mm-hmm. It does make sense.
Does it make sense? So you can control it. Okay. Yeah. You let's say let's say a lease option. No, not lease option. What's another one? What's another you can do when you can control? You talk about Airbnb as well. So let's say a person owns a property and it's upside down, or maybe they got a property in Houston but they want to move to Dallas or whatever the case is. And say they have a full loan on it. Maybe they upside down on the property, and they can't afford to have two notes. So they want to get rid of this one. And I say, listen, I can take over this note on this particular property. All right. Sign that bad boy into my name. I don't have to actually have the mortgage note. I can turn around and turn it into an Airbnb. As long as they're making a monthly payment, or I'm still making monthly payment, they happy. They going on with their life. So I technically I don't actually have to own it. I just control it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And I've been working all day today, man, so I'm kind of out of it a little bit. So I hope you guys understand what I'm saying.
No, but I do think you make a good point. I think that I do think that it's basically, what is your interest? I mean, you came into real estate, and you do a lot of these type of deals. I think we talked last week about your first deal that you did. for me, I chose to own my properties and lease them out. And, I'm doing a couple of Airbnbs now. One, again, because of education, I didn't know about the thing that you were talking about until you and I talked about the deals that you made. So I didn't even know that was an option to, basically go say, hey, you don't want this house, I'll manage it for you. And, I'll get my cut off of it. So I think that it's really about what you're trying to do and how much are you trying to manage and where you're at financially. Because I think that the owner the control, you don't need any money kind of like to do that. You're just basically exchanging or moving the parts, right, on somebody else's money.
So maybe you have a right that you don't want to do no management on it no more, right? You're older. You rather go ahead and sell it sometime, right? You just want to sell it, but you want to continue to make that monthly payment. And I come to you and say, listen, I'll manage this property for you. As long as I give you this amount of money every single month and nobody bothers you to fix a light. Nobody bothers you to fix a window or whatever the case is. And we do this for 5 years. So in that market, the rent goes up. So now I'm cashing in $200 or $300 every single month. That goes directly to me, right? Mm-hmm. And so he's getting this payment. The payment is going down, or how I decide to negotiate this deal or whatever case. We get it to where it's actually going down, and then eventually I'm gonna own the property. You can do it to where you just say, okay, as it's paying it off or whatever the case is, it's probably gonna be yours at one time. So this is how you structure it, right? But me personally, I would rather control it rather than own it. You know what I'm saying? I would rather control it than own it.
Well, me,
there's what's the pros and cons, and to be honest, my mind isn't right now.
I was just about to say, obviously, we know what side of the fence you're on.
But there's definitely pros and cons to that as well. Definitely pros and cons. But me personally, I would rather own, and because you get an return on your investment at a rapid rate than to control it from someone else and wait for them to sell it or you get it and you sell it in a long haul. If I bought the property, I can turn around and flip it within a year and make money off it. And that's instant gratification. So you don't have to wait the long haul.
But think about it. Okay, that makes sense. But I can control more property than you can actually borrow as far as the money is concerned, right? Mm-hmm. So every time you go buy a property, you got to go invest your money, your credit getting pulled. You got to vet the person that's getting into this property. But I can control more property around the United States without any of my money. I got nothing at risk. Mm-hmm. But what you rather do? Control it or own it?
Depends on my time.
Y'all look stunned.
That same thing.
I feel like
how much time I have to do this because that sounds like a lot of time, Jay.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot
I feel like,
time.
man, you only want one response. That's why I'm kind of feeling that way. Am I the only one?
Well, I will tell you something, Jay. I'm going to give you.
I'm going to tell you why I would do it. Yeah.
Well, I would
say why I would do it. No, how you would rock. That's what I want to know. How would you do this?
Sure.
How would you do this?
Well, I'll give you from a lender's way, right? So forgive me because my way of thinking is more like, okay, how would a deal fund, right? That's typically the way my brain works. So with that said, using a lender's perspective, I would say that question is a little interesting because you can control real estate and not necessarily own it, but a little different. So let me use an example, right? So an example could be you can have equity ownership in real estate without necessarily owning real estate. So for example, I know people who would say I own 500 units in Miami. Well, that person owns 10% of that 500 units in Miami. Doesn't mean they own 50 units. It just means they own 10% of whatever payouts are, right? So from an equity standpoint. So if I'm going to answer that question, I'm going to say, well, I would rather control real estate because at this point I'm a part of multiple syndications, possibly, where we own, collectively this real estate properties, and I'm getting paid equity on it versus have a laborious position of daily working and managing 5 or 10 properties, if you will, right? So again, everybody has a different approach. My approach, I'm thinking more like, okay, how can I scale faster and how can I leverage what's available to me? So for me, to answer your question, I'd rather own real estate, but in the same breath, control real estate. Does that make sense?
I get it. That makes sense. That makes sense. Perfect sense. It's just another way of looking at it, man. What I'll do, I'm gonna send everybody a couple of videos on like different ways that you can control real estate. It's kind of like not the norm, especially come from where we come from. You never hear about that at all. You know what I'm saying? So if you're the only one in your area actually doing it, you can clean your property. Really do that. So. All right. Hey, if y'all can see your face, boy, it was like okay, what?
Hey, what's going on with the dog?
She just wanted to say how she mad. I ain't give her no attention.
Oh, what kind of dog you got there?
It is a sheepon, and I'm giving her away.
What is a sheepon?
Pomeranian and a Shih Tzu. She's for sale. She's really not for sale, but yeah.
All right. We got a highlighted entrepreneur here. We're gonna let her take over the reins, so it'll be your thing, Miss Danielle.
All right, thank you so much.
Right, ready when you are.
All right. So yes, I said earlier, my name is Danielle MacArthur. I'm owner of DCDR Solutions. I'm a entrepreneur business coaching firm. So I specialize in working with first-time entrepreneurs, and I really narrow it down to creative people that have products. Because coming out of 2020, I realized all these people were starting businesses, and it really made me wonder, did they have the foundations and the support and everything they needed to truly succeed? Because everybody's kind of touched on some of the topics that I work with my clients on: standards, structure, foundation, understanding all of the things that are available to them. So many people start businesses and it's just them. They don't understand the importance of scaling, being able to pivot. I came from manufacturing background, so I have over 15 years of experience in food manufacturing. Anybody's not familiar with food manufacturing, the industry is a beast. It's like the backbone of America, and it just runs without people knowing. And part of what drives that is it's called a continuous improvement culture. No matter how good you do, you have to do better. You can clear your best year. They're going to ask you, okay, how do we get better? And you have to have that mindset. And it kind of clicked for me, like, I need to be able to bring these concepts to people that are just starting, because they need to understand you can't get stagnant. You can't get too comfortable. You have to be ready to pivot. If COVID didn't teach us anything, you have to be able to pivot, or just maybe you need to know when to stop doing something you're doing and branch off into the next thing. Understanding, like, what is your expansion plan? That's one of the things I really stress is, okay, you're here, but where do you want to get to? How big do you want to get? Because so many people have side hustles, but they don't know how to convert it to a business. And so I really enjoy working with people that have products, because I slowly bring them into the business mindset, because so many people are so creative and they have something to bring to the world, but they hate the business side. They don't care about the marketing. They don't care about social media. They just want to make this thing. And the thing is wonderful, but in order to make a profit off of that thing, you got to get that thing out. You have to make sure making that thing can be profitable, or that you're charging the right amount, making sure that you're getting everything due to you, making sure your taxes are set up, making sure you have business credit if you need it, all the things I've heard today and more, because what I use is based off of a very big principle in manufacturing. It's called the DMAIC model. So you have to define all your problems. You have to be able to measure them. So I make sure they understand what KPIs are, setting customer specific, client specific KPIs with my clients. You have to analyze it. You got to know how to break it down. What are you looking at? What is your problem? Make sure you understand all of it. You improve it, and then you have to control it. Because the idea is every problem that you run into, you don't ever want to run into that problem again. Or if you do run into it again, you know how to deal with it, and then you quickly move on to the next problem. So just teaching my clients just strong root cause analysis. That's what it is in my field. Just understand how to solve problems, how to ask the right questions. So many people don't know how to ask the right questions. You know, they hear one response is like, oh, okay. And they'll come back to me. I'm like, well, did you ask them this, or this? And they're like, no. Okay, so let's, I call it the make it make sense. Like, ask questions until it makes sense to you. And, you know, if it doesn't, if you're not sure, keep asking questions. But I really have a strong passion for helping just people solve problems and just do what is best for their individual business. And I really look forward to business coaching and entrepreneurship coaching really taking off in our community, because we see it in sports. You know, major teams don't win games without coaches. And I hear it in real estate. It's very popular. You know, one of the first things I hear when people talk about real estate, you got to get a coach. So now we got to bring that culture to small businesses to get them to understand, you know, that coach is that person that is here for you in your corner and going to give you the tools that you need to succeed. We're not going to do the work for you. So my goal is to remove obstacles and help you solve problems so that you can grow and just keep winning. So.
Awesome.
Great job.
Awesome.
Good job. All right. Any questions, Ms. Danielle?
I'm just gonna say awesome, because and the reason why, one, I like that you're bringing your skill set from corporate right into the entrepreneur world, and specifically to product development, because you're so right. In our community, we have so many ideas, right? But if you don't really know how to lift this product or to put this product in the faces or in the hands that it needs to be in, like, you can feel defeated, you know? And so for you to choose to transition your knowledge in such a way, I think it's going to be an asset to our community of entrepreneurs who have products that are awesome, that never get to where they need to go because they didn't have a person like Danielle. So I just feel like it's amazing, you know? That's awesome.
What is your ideal client?
My ideal client is someone with a product. My skills can be transferred to almost anybody, but no particular product at all. But I realize with my history in manufacturing, I understand I can analyze their process, you know, because so many people, either they're buying their resources inefficiently and wasting money, you know, not buying it in bulk or waiting to the last minute, paying too much. Like, it's just a lot of little stuff. So I really enjoy just working with people with products, no product in particular.
Okay.
And then I heard you say, like, the first 2 years, right? Like, these new entrepreneurs. So you're not going in cleaning up anything. You're actually setting them on the being more proactive and helping them in the beginning, because there's so many people who done messed it up, right? You got to go in and change everything if it's labels or whatever it is, you know? So I think that's the, you know.
Because, especially, so my blood and passion is in food. So my background is food manufacturing. So I can help anybody with a food business because my knowledge of the laws and regulations. Because to your point, if you're starting a food business, there is a lot of stuff you need to be aware of. If you plan to scale up, you can get away with a lot of stuff, but it's better to come into the game with a big mindset so you don't get tripped up later in the game. But yes, giving people those foundations and that support, because like you said, usually they're relying on family to support them, and we all know how that goes. So you got to bring somebody, you know, hey, some families may be better than others, but you got to be able to have that person that's always gonna rock. My business partner, we kind of have a partnership because he does what Allahme does, you know, getting people set up with businesses. So I tell him, you know, he gets them started, I keep them rolling.
Awesome. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. That's a dope mind. That's a dope.
I got a couple of people I'm referring to you, Danielle.
Please and thank you.
Yes.
I'll make you proud.
So
Look,
you
Jay
kind
can
of do a
speak
lot
to
of
it.
stuff.
I can't help. I naturally recommend stuff.
I may even come to you because I told you saw the books last week and the affirmation cards, and we got like this hair product line, but all of it is support the nonprofit. But even scaling it, like I could feel myself get overwhelmed. Like, okay, I'm going through labels and all of that, so I'm gonna be one of those people.
Hey, come on down. Hit me up. It's .com. He got .co scrolling at the bottom, but
I appreciate the good check. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully change right on the spot. We don't want that smoke with you.
It's all good. I have people going like she don't exist, but yeah, it's I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
There we go. Did it change?
TikTok.
Not yet.
I'm sure it'll take a second.
Yeah, it'll take a second.
Yeah. But definitely, this is dope. So they can go right online and talk to you personally and get all this stuff together and get to that next
So
level.
how does your process work though? Like,
I have it broken into, it's a program. So basically the way I equate it is it's kind of like a living course because, so many entrepreneurs, they spend all these money on courses and webinars and they don't actually ever use the information because at the end of the day, they end up being like, how do I do this? So you can get a whole bunch of information. So I kind of treat it like when I work with people, I have kind of like structured things to monitor. So like I said, especially for creatives, establishing KPIs, like, okay, what do you need to be monitoring to ensure that we can track your growth? I mean, I've met people that still documenting their sales by hand. Like, come on, we gotta do better. You find something that works for them and go there. So, helping them with identifying their brand identity, kind of like their social media conscious, getting them started over just social media basics. I don't go super advanced, but basics, because a lot of these folks, they're on social media, but they're not using it correctly. They're not using it to their advantage. And then I also stop and kind of reflect. Allahme mentioned it, where it's like, okay, let's make sure you're right before we really get going, because you can't have a bad credit score. You can't owe a bunch of people money. You can't have bad relationships with, somebody you're calling your business partner, but you don't know what they're doing. So part of that goes into like an evaluation, and then teaching them my root cause technique. So like I said, 15 years of manufacturing, I have a ridiculous amount of training in like all different types of approaches to different problems and how to solve them. So I'll kind of see, after working with somebody, I see what their style is, and I can kind of teach them ways. Okay, when you're in this situation, these are the questions you need to ask when you're looking for this type of vendor, or if you're looking for this type of venue. Just trying to get them to understand ways to make sure that they're not being taken advantage of. And then my favorite is the expansion plan. So I really like to get people to visualize big, so they can really see that whatever they want to do is possible. Because in 2022, anything's possible. Like if you want to paint cats, I bet you can Google somebody right now who got rich off of painting cats. Now, the timeline, I can't vouch for that. But as long as you got an end game plan, there's always somebody that you can refer to. And so I like getting people to understand that vision, and then kind of having an expansion plan. Like, okay, in a year, where do you want to be? In a couple years, where do you want to be? What's the next thing you want to, what's the next product you want to add to your business? What's the next service you want to add to your business? This is what you're going to have. So, it's a structured plan. I kind of call it like a living course, to kind of teach at the same time, but also establish those core foundations so that when they're done working with me, they can still keep going on their own, and they'll know what they need to do. And if they want to pivot, then they come back to me.
Absolutely. That's dope. So we see your website here, though, but they can reach out to you directly. What's other ways they can do it? Any social media handles you want to let them know about?
No, everything's DCDR Solutions. If they search that, it'll pop up. I kind of blanketed the game, so I was lucky.
Good job.
Yeah.
Well, listen,
Or my name on Facebook, Danielle MacArthur. Look for the smiling face.
Yeah. Reach out to her, guys. Reach out to her. Hey, great job on that. Absolutely. All right. Anybody have any more questions for him? I think you slam dunked that bad boy like Shaquille O'Neal.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, sir.
Let's do it here. All right. Here's another one for you.
Ooh.
What is financial literacy and why is it important?
Man, that could be a whole podcast, man.
Yeah,
Like a whole
man,
That could be a whole podcast.
man, it's a principle that
We don't really hear about this.
Go ahead, sir.
Go ahead, bro. No.
No, I'm just saying that there's a principle that people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, and I was one of those people, man. My wife and I, we started a small business years ago, Williams Carpet Cleaning, concierge services, and I was young. We were going out. The first year we made $383. The debt was $3,700. Second year we turned it around, making $10,000 a month, but I wasn't financially educated, man. And then I'm just being 100% transparent because this is an area that I'm personally passionate about. Is it got to a point where banks wouldn't take our payroll checks for our employees. That's bad, And so because I worked in my business, but I didn't know how to work on my business. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Facts.
And man, let me tell you, the stress, strain, and struggle. There's a saying: if mom ain't happy, nobody's happy.
Absolutely.
Sister girl wasn't happy, man. So, but understanding what your money does, giving your money an assignment, that kind of stuff is just, for me, I'm extremely passionate about being financially literate, whether you're single, couple, it doesn't matter. Be literate, know what you're doing, and give your money an assignment.
And it wants an assignment. I think that's it wants an assignment. If you ain't gonna tell it what to do, it's gonna do what it want to do, and you don't know what it went to. You're like, wait, I know I just had this money in the account. Like, where did you go? It's like it evaporates, right? But when you become a steward over it, right, and you give it an assignment and you know what you're doing with it, it's like it stays with you. It's like a relationship. And I talk to my clients about this. Like, you got to get a better relationship with money, and you got to know like what you're doing with it and how you going to have it coming to you. And it gets very intimidating, in the beginning when we start talking about financial literacy. I think it's a lot of emotions, tied to this conversation, because I think we know in the back of our mind that we're not literate, right, with our money. But to say, I raise our hand and say it, it's like so many of us just don't even want to admit that I need help with my relationship with money, and I think that it's just so important just to.
Because I think it's exposure. You feel exposed because the more reckless you are, the more exposed is that you don't know. Mm-hmm. And I feel like now, you don't want people to not know you don't know what you're doing, right? But man, financial literacy is literally everything. That was one of the motivating factors for me in helping people, because I got like a whole thing where it's like, if you ain't got your stuff right, don't you dare try to start a business. Like you said, if you don't have your mind right, if you don't have a budget, if you don't have investment accounts set up, just to have them set up, or understand why you need these things set up, or understand why you need to be doing these things. Like, come on, you got to start off with the right foot, or else, like you said, you'll be flipped up backwards, spending all your money on everything and not paying yourself. So
yeah,
everybody else.
And also, I feel it's something that you need to dive into as a youngster, because oftentimes we really don't get financially literate until we're of age. Now, I can only speak to myself. I have an accounting and finance background. I was in corporate 38 years. I did not, I'm being 100% transparent with you. I did not get financial literate until probably about 5 or 6 years ago. Now, I'm telling you, I've been in finance and accounting for 38 years. But again, when you're in corporate, it's just the hustle and bustle. You really don't have time to vet out exactly what you need to do and how to structure things, budgets, balance sheets, and all of that stuff. That stuff was far-fetched for me. But again, it's because I had coaches and mentors that showed me and helped me do this. This is not something that I actually learned as a child. And that's the problem with our community, is that we don't learn as youngsters. Now, I have a son that's his 3rd year in college, and he's knowing it. He has a pretty high credit score. So he's kind of understanding how things work. And the same with my daughter. They're understanding. But again, I didn't get that knowledge when I was younger, and they don't teach it. Well, they do teach it now in school, but they didn't teach it when I was. So you have to kind of be introduced to it as a youngster, so that way you can pick up the mannerisms and the habits, and be able to move into adulthood and transfer it down and convey it down to the younger ones. That's the only one. But it's I wouldn't say intimidating, but if you don't know, you're completely lost. I'm telling you. I just told you what my background was, and I just recently became literate, I want to say over the last 5 or 6 years ago.
I'm up there with you. If it wasn't for a mentor, because I didn't get it from my family. If it wasn't for a mentor who was like, "What are you doing? Stop playing around. Why are you taking this lower paying position? What are you doing? Keep moving up." And it was just, I didn't even understand it at the time. And I just was like, okay, I'll go this way. And I still didn't know what I was doing, but it's like she was pointing me in a direction. That's the other problem. You can take them to water, but you can't make them drink. So you have to be receptive to it.
And I think it goes to add to what you both said, is really asking yourself about how do you feel about money? What comes up for you? What beliefs do you have around money? Because I know growing up in a household, I just had some negative beliefs about money, right? Like, it's better for a poor man to get through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter heavens. Just like, these very, like more money, more problems, right? Like, it was so much around money and so much conflict around money that as a young person, we don't understand we have picked up. And so when we get it to really navigate through, how do I know I'm getting 80,000, 120,000, even 50,000 or 24,000, whatever your range is. I know I got this coming in. So what am I going to do with it? And sitting down and having that conversation, or, being the breadwinner of the family. Now everybody think you got it. And so instead of you saying, I don't got it, like, you feel obligated to say yes and yes and yes and yes. And it's like, why do I feel obligated to take care of everybody? Because they think I got money and I'm going in overdraft over here, because I'm trying to keep this facade up that I got money. Just illiterate.
If we can break that stigma, just because I got it don't mean you come ask me for it. I don't know how I got it, but I got it, and I need to figure out what I'm going to do with it. Right. But I don't want to give it to you.
Right. And it's a problem, and I don't want it. And being okay with that, right? And being okay with getting yourself sound, getting yourself in order. And then, okay, now I know how much to give away, and when I hit that mark, I'm done. Like, okay, I don't got no more, right? But it was a journey for me as well. It was a mental journey. I said it a couple weeks ago. I sat down with my accountant and she was like, now, what did you pay for this? And I was like, clenching my pearls, like, it was just such a nervous a conversation for me. But I'm glad I went through it, and I like talk to people about it all the time. Look, build a better relationship with your money, right? Like, you in a relationship with everything, and one of them is with your money. And if you want it to stay with you, you gotta take care of it. And I know that's go against what you've been taught. And no, it's not God, and you ain't treating it like it's God or nothing like that. But you know you need money to make it in this world. That's for sure. So
yeah, I mean, it should be something we're really taught as a young person. You know, you shouldn't have to wait till you get older to start thinking about financial literacy. But it's not a word that was really thrown around when I was a young person in my neighborhood, you know. And I'm kind of like Sheila as well. You start looking at all of the bad stuff that you hear, you know, so as far as people with money, you're going to have a lot of problems. And you kind of hide behind that, you know. But it's important to become financial literate. It's just, you have to be, you know, and you have to tell your money, like Rich said, where to go. I remember listening to Dave Ramsey. That's kind of one of the things he talks about. He's a financial guy. You know, don't run out of a month before you run out of money or something like that. Run out of money before you run out of month or whatever. But do that. Print out your bank statement. See where your money is going. Right? And you see a big portion of it going to McDonald's or Rallies or wherever these different restaurants are. You got to cut that down. You know, if not, cut it out. Right? It ain't just walking away from you. You're spending it or you're giving it away. You know what I'm saying? So we can't hide behind that part. We got to be a grown-up and tell our money where to go. And the number one thing in this whole situation is to pay yourself first. Put your money to the side. You know, and go ahead, bro.
No, I was just going to say, you know, along the line, and you know, I don't know, you know, the demographics of the audience. I don't know, sometimes with the men that I work with, married men, brothers, you know, if you were smart enough to marry her, you should be smart enough to listen to her, right? Because sometimes women are better with money than men. You know, my wife is a CFO, and you know, I'm a grown doggone man, but she tells me how much to spend for lunch. You know what I'm saying? But and I joke about it. But, what's that? But I'm wise to listen. You know, and we've been married 33 years. But you know, the thing about it is that, you know, if you look at the divorce rate, money is like probably in the top 3 for married couples. And then you look at the African American community, it's probably higher, right? And it's just, you know, this thing about, you know, again, I don't know, you know, the demographics, but I know for men, sometimes it could be a pride thing about money. I don't know, it's a literacy issue. And if you have a spouse that's good with money, and you were smart enough to marry her, bro, be smart enough to listen to her, you know, because she's helped. You know what I'm saying? So those are some of the things, you know, in my relationship with my wife, the things that have really, in the latter end, that have been so beneficial. You know, back in the days, we were just making money, and no accountability. I didn't know where it was going. $10,000, $15,000 a month. It's just gone. You know. But now there's a checks and balance. You know, after this call tonight, her and I got to sit down and take a look at what we're going to do the next 90 days. Right. So, you know, it's just it's a good thing to be able to understand what your money's doing. So
I have a financial date on every Monday, but I looked up the word financial literacy because I wanted to fully understand. Like, I hear this word financial literacy, but I wanted to fully understand by definition, you know, what it means. And it says it includes budgets, understanding how credit works, saving for retirement, stocks, bonds, EFTs, and creating an investment plan, right? So this is inclusive, right? So for me, I used to spend a whole lot of money up front. I'm gonna pay for my car, I'm gonna pay for this, but my credit was shot, right? Like, so then when I went to go build my credit, it was like, well, do you have a mortgage? No, I don't. Like, I paid for my house. Do you have a car note? Like, I didn't have reoccurring credit. Like, it was these little things now that then I had to build up because I thought, oh, I got this money, let me pay for this. And I was still illiterate in how do I use your money, you know what I mean, to get what I want and not use all my money to get, you know, the things I want. But at a time, I felt like that was, you know, balling. Like, oh, I'm gonna go pay for this. I'm gonna pay for this car. I'm gonna, you know, pay this house down. Like, and didn't really see how that was affecting me negatively when it came to now I want to go borrow your money, and it's like, well, where is your credit history at? Like, you're not showing any type of, so I wanted to give our audience like what that meant, like what is financial literacy, because it's more than just budgets and things like that. It's really how do you use your money, and how are you storing your money, saving your money, and then how are you setting yourself up to make your money an asset where you can use other people's money, especially as a business owner.
That part.
Mm-hmm. Here's the deal too. So if you can't manage your money, how are you going to manage your business money? If you're striving to be an entrepreneur, can't manage yours, how are you going to manage that? And if you don't manage that, meaning don't pay your taxes and things of that nature, they got a place called jail. When you go into, you know what I'm saying? So you got to take care of it. So why not start?
The cushy kind.
Say it again.
I said it's the cushy kind of jail. It ain't the, as long as you're going heading for the feds, you're good. You know what I'm saying?
That's the cushy kind.
You're going to do dirt, shoot for federal crimes. But no, get a good tax person and a good credit person.
Yes.
That's like the first two things. Yes.
It's okay to get you a team of people that's invested in your health, safety, and well-being. And guess what? Money is a safety net. Like it makes you feel safe. Believe it or not, you feel more secure when you got your money in order. Despite what people tell you, they can say you're cocky or stuck up or whatever. But when you know that you got some money in the back pocket, you're not doing with some things.
Right.
Right. Rich said, right. You are. Like, you ain't got no money. You find yourself saying yes when you want to say no, and doing stuff that you otherwise wouldn't do. And, but you get you a nice safety net. It's like, no, I'm good.
I'm good. Look, everybody done had that moment. No, I'm good.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So
great question, man.
Here's another one for you. To kind of go right along with it.
Another
right?
big
one.
Another big one.
It is. This is another big one. How many of us have a profit and loss? What is P&L? Profit and loss. How many of us have this sheet in your business? Work with Danielle. She'll make sure you have one, though.
Okay. How else you making money? You better. Unless you just want to burn out, how else are you making money?
And how do you know where you're spending money and what you're spending money on, right? And where is it going and how is it being allocated? Even if you're breaking even in your business, like this sheet is so important for you to understand what's happening. It's kind of like your bank statement. Like, where is my money going? And how much do I got coming in? How much do I got going out? And where is it going out to? You know?
You don't have this sheet, like you say, you don't know how much money you really making. As simple as that. When we first started off in business, I didn't have one. I was just buying the stuff that I needed. Like, hey, I need this, let me go get that. I wasn't even keeping the receipts and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, but now that you have it, you really see exactly where your money's going. It's important to have that.
Yeah.
I think it's essential. You don't have this, I don't know what you're doing. You don't have a profit and loss sheet. You don't understand where your money going. You just tripping. That's what you're doing. It's expensive. What'd you say? Expensive activity that you're doing. That's basically what it is. You don't have this in place.
And if it's 5,000, if it's 2,000, if it's 500, it doesn't really matter how much. If it's 5 million, it doesn't really matter the numbers that's on the profit and loss or the items. It's just, again, just being a steward. I had to learn this, and when you do it the first time, that's another intimidating situation because it's like, whoa, it's a eye opener. But then, you feel good when they say, I need a copy of your profit and loss statement. Let me get that right over to you. You will have that in 5 minutes, sir. It is. It feels good. But it's important.
Yes. Any more comments? Then we'll jump on let's jump on the credit situation. A business credit. Any more questions? Come to this? All right, let's put the highlight on them real quick. And let me know when this highlighted, guys. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Is that right? The credit 909. Okay.
Credit 909.
Right, ready?
Yep. I am.
Ready
I
when
am.
you're ready.
Okay, awesome. Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Allahme A Dixon. And as you probably heard me earlier, I was been in corporate for a long time, and I just literally got tired of working in corporate, so I walked away. Very passionate about what I do. Name of my company is Credit 909, and we specialize in helping entrepreneurs establish and build their businesses. Now, I want to ask the question, and I'm going to answer it. So I go to a lot of networking events, and I want to tell you how many entrepreneurs there you think has business credit, working off of business credit. Right. So I want to say 85 to 90% of the entrepreneurs that I meet, they're using their personal money to fund their business. And that is a no-no. You know why? Several reasons why. Because you're maxing out your personal credit cards and you're screwing up your personal credit in the process. So I'm a big stickler on using your business credit. And so that's why I mentor all of my clients along the way. So yes, we do provide services. However, I do mentor my clients because I want to make sure my clients fully maximize the benefits of what I'm teaching them. So what we do is we help entrepreneurs from the infancy stages, their EIN, fictitious business name, LLC, S Corp, C Corp, whatever it is that they want. We help them with that. We also supply them with the website, make sure they have everything consistent. The email address, we don't do any Gmails or Yahoo email accounts, virtual address or brick and mortar, whatever their preference is. So we literally have a package where we help entrepreneurs fully set up their business, structure their business, again, so their business can propel and not raise any red flags. And to add to that, some entrepreneurs want to do it themselves. So we do provide the services, we provide the package, and then I have a mentorship and boot camps where entrepreneurs can come in. We meet twice a week for 6 weeks, and they come in and I show them how to do it step by step, guide by guide, how to set up their business. A lot of times they want to know how to do it, so in case they have another business. This was extremely beneficial for me, especially after COVID. There's a lot of individuals that became entrepreneurs. And again, they were using their personal money. And I'm completely against that because you can go broke. Now, there's a myth. I want to say there's a myth because I get it from a lot of my clients. Well, I'll let my personal credit sit there and let everything fall off while I'm working my business credit. That's a myth. That's not accurate. Okay. And the reason why is because oftentimes when you're establishing business credit, the lenders and the banks are looking for a PG because you don't have enough business credit established. And a PG is a personal guarantor. Personal guarantor is your personal credit. So they're going to run your personal credit. And if you got bad personal credit, they're not going to give you any business credit. So one of the things I do is when I get entrepreneurs to come to me to help them structure their businesses, I ask them, what's your personal credit looking like? 9 times out of 10, we have to work on that first before we get to the next level. But I want you to know that it's important that you have your personal credit on point first before you want to even start working on your business credit. And like I said, there's a lot of different things that goes in with that. A lot of entrepreneurs don't know, like with California, there's an $800 fee that you have to pay every year in California. Other states there's different. So it depends on where you want your business domiciled. And again, that's what we do. That's what I offer to my business, to my clients. I am the CEO and a strategist, credit repair strategist for my clients. And I am also a mentor. So I mentor them along the way, tell them what they need to do, what are they doing wrong, how to stack and rank their credit, how to establish their tier 1 vendors, which are the net 30 vendors, the tier 2 vendors on up to the line of credit and business bank funding from the banks. So I make sure they have everything stacked and ranked the way it's supposed to before they go out to the banks and ask for money. And, my clients are very successful doing that. Any questions?
Oh, no. Appreciate you. So you deal with business credit, right? For the most part, you do both, but for the most part,
I do both. Yeah.
With business credit, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So business credit, man. Name some of the things that you can purchase with business credit.
Oh, you can purchase a car. You can purchase a house. You can purchase a lot of things with business credit, but you got to make sure your personal credit is on point too. Because literally, I have connections right now where you can literally walk off of car lots with in your business name, and everything, of course, is going to be in your business name. It's not going to be in your personal name, but they will definitely look at your personal credit if you don't have anything established. And you also can add trade lines, just like personal credit. You can add trade lines to your business credit that can actually boost up your business credit. And so those are some of the things that we offer also, permanent business trade lines.
And can you tell them the benefit? Can you tell us the benefit of pros and cons, right, to establishing business credit and using that in your business? Using your business money first versus going to your own. The pros and cons.
The pros and cons. Absolutely. First of all, you don't want to use your personal money because you're exhausting everything that you worked hard for in your savings. You're exhausting that on your business. Now, just think about this. If you invest in your business using all of your savings money, take money out of your 401k, or you just had money put aside and you opened this business and this business fell after 2 years, after 1 year, you just exhausted all of your money that you worked hard for. You understand what I'm saying? You just exhausted all of your money. You have absolutely nothing to show for now. So with business credit and business funding, you're using somebody else's money. And here's another caveat to that. If you have your credit cards maxed out, your personal credit cards maxed out, you can use your business credit cards, take money off your business credit cards to pay down your personal credit. And guess what? Business credit cards, that's not going to impact your personal credit. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of pros. And I show a lot of my clients how to hide their utilizations also, just using that method. Because even if you get a $15,000, $20,000 business credit card, you have a $10,000 credit card, personal credit card, that is over 30% and it's impacting your personal score, you can take that money from your business credit and pay that off. This is going to bring your personal credit score up, but it's not going to do anything with your business credit. Because let me tell you something, as long as you're paying your bills on time, you making sure any net 30 accounts that you have, that you're paying them before 30 days, any credit cards, any line of credit, anything like that, as far as a financial institution, if you're paying everything on time, and if you have a paydex score of 80 and above, you're straight, because that's what people are looking for. That's what the banks are looking for. They want to make sure that you have a paydex score of 80 and above. If you have anything under 80, they're not going to touch you. So that's why it's very important. And this is why I am a stickler with, do not use your personal money for your business. Because if your business flopped and you invested all your personal money, you're not going to have nothing to show for it.
Mm-hmm. So would it be fair to say that as a newer entrepreneur or at any stage in your entrepreneurship, if we haven't established this business credit, that should be the next thing on our priority list, is to make sure that we are establishing this business credit so we can have that as a go-to as business owners and not fall back on our own?
Absolutely. The first thing you want to do is you want to structure your business, and you want to make sure your business is structured properly. I'm not talking about, because when you talk to someone from Frito-Lay or Coca-Cola, their email address is not Allahme Dixon @Gmail Coca-Cola. Okay. You want to make sure it's a .com, it's a domain, because these are some of the things that can get your application denied. You want to make sure everything is consistent across the board. Your bank account, your information, your article of incorporation. Everything is consistent across the board because these are the things that they're looking for. You want to also make sure you have a business address, a business phone, so when they call, someone can answer your phone professionally. So those are some of the small things that you think that doesn't matter, and it does matter. It can cause your application to get denied. But again, I'm saying this is when you establish your business and you create, whether it's a 503c nonprofit, whether it's an LLC, whether it's a sole proprietor, when you decide to go in business, when you have that mindset that you're going to be an entrepreneur and you want to establish a business, the next thing is to establish credit. And it doesn't take forever. It took me literally 6 months to establish my credit. When I first started working on my personal credit was for like 546. It literally took me 3 months to bring it up to 803. Again, I have a lot of mentors in the industry that are rubbing elbows with the American Express executives, the Mercedes dealers, finance managers. They come back.
Look, if she's busy, I got a guy that can do the same thing too. She's thinking of my soul.
They dropping gems on us. They're dropping gems.
Yes.
And that's what I do with my clients. I show them how to structure their credit. It's not just revolving. You have to have installment loans. I help people with how to structure the business, what to do, go to Navy Federal, get pledge loans and everything, just to properly structure their credit. Once I did that, I started applying for business credit. My first business credit card at First National Bank of Omaha was $25,000. Just within establishing my personal credit. And that was within, 3 months? Because I had my net 30. So once you start stacking and you have good credit, and then from that point, I got Dell and everything else just went sky high. I don't even use my personal money for my business. I'm swiping my business credit cards.
Well, thank you for
You
that.
can still get those
You're
cash
welcome.
back rewards and all that other stuff, like
Absolutely.
the miles, because that's the main thing. My friend does. He doesn't pay for trips. I don't pay for flights.
I don't pay for flights. Flights are free. Hotel stays are free. I don't pay for anything. And every time we go on vacation, my husband is booking something because he likes to plan. He's booking something. I always say, you got to let me know because I got all of these rewards. And he does it all the time. And I have to just cancel that because I got all these rewards. And we do a lot just, on rewards, period. Because, that's one of the things I also mentor my clients on the type of credit cards to get, so they'll know. Use somebody else's money. Don't use yours. Get things for free. When you get gas, use your card. You get groceries, use your card. You have 3 points for gas, 2 points for groceries, leverage it. Use the bank's money.
But it does tie into the previous thing, though. You have to have that financial literacy, or else everything that she'll set somebody up for will be for nothing. If you don't understand, you still have to manage it, and you have to have a plan, because I'm sure I'm not the only one who would be blown away by access to a $25,000 line of credit. So are you going to be responsible when that it comes upon you? You got to have a plan. So I think I like those two topics. They're definitely tied together. You can't have one without the other.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to understand it.
And I think the other benefit to it is, and if something happens in your business and you have to dissolve that, it doesn't affect you in the way, for your long haul. So you don't have this on your credit. Like, that is a different structure. That's a different entity. And we talk about the quote unquote white man who go out here and do all this stuff, but no, they're just literate. They know how to
play the game,
and they know how to structure their life in such a way that, all of this stuff, they can go and close that down and start something else up. And like you said, in 3 to 6 months, they'd establish something else. And now all of a sudden you like, well, it's just white man game. And it's like, no, it's actually just knowing what to do. It's information, And
they were introduced
now, huh?
They were introduced at an early age.
My favorite thing is, why do people get mad when you hear somebody didn't pay taxes? How about you try to understand how
How?
they didn't pay taxes. Don't get mad because they're not paying taxes and you're paying taxes. They're playing the game. People that play the game don't have to pay taxes.
Right.
So
And
my goal is to get to zero.
And I go back into, I deal with people. I'm a emotional management person. That's what I say. Like, I help people manage their emotions around these type of conversations because they're not easy to have, and I think we have this notion that I should have known that.
Yes.
But who taught you, right? Like, who taught you? You know now. So what are you going to do to move forward now that you have the information? And the first step is just asking the questions or dealing with the emotions that come up, the guilt, the shame, the whatever, it's
almost like AA. You got to admit you have a problem first.
Yes.
You got to say it out loud. Yes. I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know what I'm doing, but it's the perfect time to figure it out and find out and have those conversations that you need to have. And I tell people sometimes, we can have unrealistic goals for a year. But if you think about where you can be 3 years from now with this information, right? Because we try to do so much in 1 year. Like, I want to do this, I want to knock out this, I want it. But if you give yourself a 3-year plan, I guarantee the whole trajectory of your life experience will be different. Just
Absolutely.
Step by step and doing these little things to make it happen. And you don't have to do all of this stuff in 1 year, all of this stuff. Like, I need it to happen now. No, but if you don't do the right thing in 3 years, I guarantee you ain't nothing gonna change. So, and I think that this is really good, and I think it's amazing that you're really talking to people about that. Now, I'm guilty as an entrepreneur. I cannot say that I didn't hear that going in. Use your own credit. I mean, get you some business credit. Like, I heard it, but it was like, like, over my head, like, okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get a DUNS number. Okay, I'm gonna do that, But it truly was the emotions of, I don't know what a DUNS number is. Am I supposed to know what a DUNS number is? Like, just this do I supposed to know what a net 30 is? You just told me I need a net 30. What is that? And that's why you're the expert and I'm the client. You know what I mean? Because when you go to your doctors, your doctor give you information. You ain't thinking you should know what's on his chart.
What Google said.
Exactly.
But in some way, we feel like when we speak to each other, we have to know just as much as you know as the expert, and you don't.
But you have to have. And the thing about it, and this is what individuals don't understand, it's easier to get business credit than personal credit. Because guess what? Your business profile has no negative accounts. You're starting from new. Just stack it up with the net 30 accounts, your tier 1 accounts, and you're good to go. You don't have to worry about clearing any derogatory or challenging any derogatory items on your business credit. Business's credit is so easy. I'm telling you, it literally took me 6 months to get over $150,000 in business credit. Literally 6 months. Because it's so much easier.
This is the game.
Yeah.
This is the game that's been played that you don't even know about, right? That business credit. I have a quick question. So, can you have messed up credit but great business credit? Is that possible?
If you're using your business, oh, absolutely, it's possible. Because what's happening is you're using here's the deal. If you have good business credit and messed up personal credit, you obviously have to start off with good personal credit to establish business credit. So at one point you did have good personal credit, but you let it, fall by the wayside because you was working with your business credit. So it is possible. But then again, you have to look at it. It depends on how you have your business credit structured now. So if you have bad credit, bad personal credit, and now you have excellent business credit, $400,000 in business credit, you're fine. They're not going to ask for a PG. You already established your business.
Yeah. And I like what you said too about, and now it's time for you to use that good business credit to establish your credit, right? And having that conversation. So you walking away with a win-win.
So if you got business credit and your business credit is established, there's no way you should be having bad personal credit. So you should
You ain't
leverage
got a
that
plan.
business credit. Absolutely.
And yeah, with the plan.
Look,
We
you
need
gotta
a
have a plan. You gotta have a plan.
But listen, man,
Good
this
information.
is game. Absolutely. The information that we learned like in a short period of time, man, if people would take this information and run with it, like you say, if you let's say give us 12 months and focus on the things that we're talking about today, it'd be phenomenal in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be in a great situation in 3 years. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. And we don't have to, let's say eat up in one bite at a time, right? So just take it every single day, do something in your business that's towards your goal every single day. And then 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days from now, look back on what it was then. You'll see the whole process. You'll see the whole deal coming together for you. You know what I'm saying? Just get started. Just get started. I ride past, I see, man, I feel like I was tricked. You know what I'm saying? Like they knew this information and I didn't know this information for years, man. And it's just that easy. She just said your business credit can go up a lot faster than your personal credit. We so focused on our personal credit, we don't even think about the business.
Mm-hmm.
How many of
And then we got
business?
I'm sorry. I interrupted you.
There were some entrepreneurs who have business that never really even thought about. Well, they probably thought about it, but never put that in action to get the business off. And you buy stuff every single month through these different platforms, Net 30, this, that, and the other. And don't even really understand what you're doing. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Well, you got 3 or 4. This is what I'm going to say. You got 3 and 4 businesses that you taking your own money, and I'm guilty of that one. You got this business over here, this business over here, and you wondering like, man, how they doing it? But they have their process in order, strategy, a plan, like Danielle said, right? They're talking to the right people, and as a consequence of that, then now they're reaping the reward. And I'm one of them, just like, oh, I need to work, and then I gotta, pay for this, and I gotta pay for that, and I gotta pay for that. And like I said, but I heard that, and it was,
But I think that goes back to.
I say that because I'm like, what can we say today to the audience so it don't just go pew, like it don't just go over your. And I'm an educated woman. I got a PhD. So it's not, I don't think it, and like you said, you worked in accounting. I mean, you worked in accounting for 38 years and still you have your personal stuff. Like, what can we say to really anchor down? Like, listen, Linda. Like,
You gotta encourage these conversations, though. I think that's what it is like you said it before. People don't want to talk about it because they don't know. And I don't know, maybe it takes people like us who start saying or being transparent and trying to get people on the game. That's why social media is so important for people like Allahme, who they'll post these little tidbits of information. I mean, we just gotta spread it. Because I'm like you. It's like, what's the magic word to get somebody to realize? Go fix your business credit.
I'm gonna tell you what it is. It's that we come from the environment that we come from. We so used to hearing people talking about stuff and it don't come true, or they half lying, telling a half truth is really a lie. I think nowadays we're more visual than anything. So if you can show somebody those steps, or you can show somebody what you accumulated by doing what you're doing, they're more likely to listen to what you have to say.
And I will definitely agree with that, because that's why I helped my friend build his business, and I didn't know any of this until I literally watched him do that, and it was like, oh, okay. And I learned all kind of stuff. I'm 37 years old right now. A year ago. So it's
They say believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. That's kind of the process I used to have. You know what I'm saying? But now, like where we living at, you see these people houses, and it's like it's 2 people living in these big old houses, and man, it's like what is happening? I know they ain't got more drive than me. Like, what's going on over here? But it's these different things that they're doing, you know what I'm saying? Like I was that I didn't know nothing about, man. I heard this guy talk about how to spend $1 more than once. I don't know if you guys seen it. If you go on YouTube, pull that up. It was like, wow.
Of course.
Say it again.
Of course, I heard it. Yes, I have heard it.
$1 more.
How you spend $1 more than it's like what?
Well, I'm gonna go watch that video, even though I have an idea of how to spend $1 more than once. I don't think I've ever watched the video.
Write it down.
But it makes sense. But that stuff, man, we don't like a prime example. Let's say we go and get some insurance for our car, right? Let's say the monthly car insurance is a couple $100 a month or whatever the case is, right? And so they may tell us it's $2,000 or whatever for 6 months, whatever it is, right? And we'll just say, you know what? I can pay those $200 a month rather than going and pay the whole amount and get it at a deeper discount, right? So if you save your money up and just pay your policy off for that whole 6 months, you're actually saving a lot of money if you pay it up front. That money that you turn around and saving, you can use that towards something else and do the same thing. It's a lot of stuff this man was talking about. It's like, man, it blew my mind. I ain't been the same since. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we gotta go do our homework and watch this.
And I think that as entrepreneurs, believing in your business, I think that when we start talking about, business credit and lines of credit and going to get this $25,000 and establishing, the first thing is that you got to believe that gift that's in you, it wants to be birthed. And how you're going to use this resource is to put people around you to help lift that product, that service, that whatever. And so going to get this business line of credit is the exact thing you need to do so you can hire your coach, so you can hire the accountant, so you can get these things in order. If it's a product, hire Danielle. It's a mindset or emotional stuff or a therapist, hire me. If it's the credit, hire Miss, I forget what your name is, but Miss Line, right? So the reason why you're going to get the credit is because you saying right now, I can't afford a personal assistant or I can't afford, a coach to get me help. And you're stuck in your business, not growing, not developing your product, not being released. But if you go and establish this credit, then it's going to give you a little bit of room to breathe. Right? Return
on investment. They don't understand. You have to continually invest in yourself.
Yeah. And so then it's like, so you taking this out, and now, yes, you're gonna have payments, but by the time this really start hitting you, you should be established and have a product sold or have something sold. So now that product is paying back this loan, or that product or your service now is paying back what you owe. And that's all strategy and planning. But the reason you're doing it is to give you some breathing room. And to get that breathing room, you have to believe in this thing you're doing. And it's a refining process. So it may not look like your ideal in your mind in the beginning. It may end up looking totally different in a better way once you build your team of people around you. But you got to believe in you, know.
And you have to definitely invest in yourself, surround yourself around like-minded individuals. And like me, I have mentors. I paid a lot of money to sit at these seats, but guess what? The knowledge that I learned sitting at these tables have allowed me, when I see these coaches and I want to talk to these coaches, I want these coaches to mentor me. How much? $5,000. Guess what I do? Business credit card, swipe. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So that knowledge that I got allowed me to level up my business so that I can expand and take my business to the next level. And it's all a tax write-off.
And it's all a tax write-off. Yes. Thank you. Somebody else can say it.
Yes. So it's so many benefits, I think, like I said, like just having that plan in place, like, okay, why would I get business credit right now? I think that was one of the like, why would I get it right now? I don't have anything. But if I had it at the time, I definitely would have been able to maneuver or hire my coach faster or do whatever that thing is I needed to do. I would have had a breather, like, and been able to sleep a little lighter at night, And it's challenging. And, this road to entrepreneurship, I say, it's the journey of life. it really mirrors the journey of life, because you get to learn so much about you as you go towards as we start to go towards our goals and dreams. It brings up a lot of our subconscious stuff, our limiting beliefs, our, not feeling good enough, or not feeling, smart enough, or not feeling this, but you need that to go through that so you can get to the other side. And that's why you have a coach to remind you that you are good enough.
Yeah. That's one of the biggest things, is getting people to believe in themselves and believe that I deserve this. I can bring something to the world. And once you unlock that, you don't stop. Because that's another thing that drives me crazy. People who, they feel obligated to start a business. That's not how it works. You got to you gotta want it. You gotta, the 10 fingers, all of them fingers gotta be down. If you're not willing to put those 10 fingers down, don't even start, because you're not gonna stay committed to any of the plans and the process. And no matter how much game we put you on, it's not gonna work if you don't believe in it. So. And
I think you said this earlier, Danielle, about, you see every other industry have a coach, right? Like, there's a coach that is harnessing that talent and telling that individual what to do with that talent, how to train for that talent, who to be in front of with that talent. You are the talent, and you need a coach or in a group of people around you that harness that. And that may not be the people that you're currently with, which may be your friends and your family, and that don't make them bad people.
No, it does not.
Just but that's not your group, right? That's not.
I think you said it before. It's your dream. You can't worry about. You have to believe in your dream. Yes. It ain't your family's dream. It ain't your friend's dream. They don't get it. It's not for them.
No matter how bad we want them to, though. And anybody out there, I know you want them to want this, and you just want to get that yes, but
don't wait for it.
They'll do it. I think Ashley said it last week. She left and came back, and now everybody will, so.
Like it.
Listen, man. No, go ahead, Dan.
Oh no, I'm just saying it's a great conversation, because it goes back to, like you said, what can we say to get people to really get it, to start off on the right foot, because they don't have that person that leads them. And I mean, Allahme said, mentors, coaches, these are valuable. I've never met, somebody that hasn't, the momentum you get when you have that support is so much different. Yes, you can do it on your own, but what's the point, and what's the fun and the joy in that? We're natural. We want to be around other people. So why would you not surround yourself by the right people, and the right people that are aligned with your end goals and your morals or your views and whatnot, and business? It's a very powerful thing.
Right. It helps you discover your end goal, your values, your morals, right? That's one of the first exercises we do. What are your values? What do you value? Let's talk about that. Huh?
Who's your avatar?
Yeah. And I want to say,
your ideal client. Yeah.
And I want to say this too. Yeah, you're paying for that accountability, right? But here's the thing. Everybody in that group is also investing in them. So everybody has a vested interest in themselves, which spreads energetically, right? We're here for a purpose. We're here to make something happen. And if you get with the right group of people, you don't know what could come out of that. Like I said, this no new friends, that ain't for entrepreneurship, because you don't know who on the other side of that bridge.
I want all the new friends.
Yeah, all the new friends.
That ain't gonna ask me for money.
Yeah, so it's an amazing journey when we start to really level up our mind and be able to manage the emotions that come with, the execution of it all.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to the point to where a person got to push you to be successful. That's when you go win, right? A person just placed the ball on the field. You should know what to do with it. So the thing about it is this: we have this thing that we on right now. It's a cheat code. That's the internet. Back in the day, we didn't have it. We had to literally go out and get around with people or whatever the case is. But they got this app called MeetUp. Whatever you want to do, you want to learn how to hula hoop, they got a group in there to teach you how to hula hoop, whatever. It's called meetup.com. You pull that thing up, type in there whatever you're trying to do, and there's people who think like you in this particular group. Mm-hmm. Go get it. Mm-hmm. No excuses, go get it. If you don't do it, it's on you. Here's the game. We're talking about credit here. We're talking about, come on, man. It's my business credit. Like, I'm still kind of throwing on my business credit. You know what I'm saying? It's phenomenal. It was like I got a key that opened the door to a whole new dimension. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Now, Jay, don't sleep, Jay. The people that you see in those big houses, those houses might be in their business name.
Okay. Mm-hmm. You better tell them.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what they're doing. Exactly what they're doing. Cars and all that stuff.
Cars.
So
fancy cars.
That they played another game. Like, okay, you know how chess and checkers, you know, the game is the same, the squares are the same, the pieces are different. They move it different, right? We grew up, I grew up, you know, the checker, you know, one step and you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And they win in the game. Mm-hmm. You have to learn the game of chess so you can see those moves ahead. 3 or 4 or 5 different moves ahead. That's what they're playing. We think it's a physical situation. You beat somebody up or whatever the case is. Nah, I don't want to fight, right? Mm-hmm. They using their mind. Use your mind.
And I grew up in Saginaw, Michigan, which was once the #1 murder capita in America. And we saw a lot of scamming and a lot of crime, and there was very much a lot of trust issues coming from that neighborhood. Like, who can I trust? Like, you know, and I remember starting my business and being able to, you know, talking about the car and the house. And then I saw this guy who did that. He had the car in the house. He got raided because he was like money laundering. And I was like, how did he money launder, you know? And so it was like these stories that was popping up of how this mechanism was being used, right? And I think that's one of the things that kind of deterred me, because I already came from a criminal mind, you know, like a background that had this type of criminal, you know, type of mentality. And so when it was time to now rectify and get things in order, right? Like, no, you can do that. I think that a part of my shift that I had to make was, but you do have your stuff in order, Sheila. You know what I mean? And give myself permission to say, and you can do this. You know what I mean? It's okay, right? Like, you're not a criminal. But so if I'm just speaking to the entrepreneurs that may have come from traumatic experiences, that may have come from neighborhoods like me and Jay, you know, where it's, you know, you turn around the corner and it's shots fired and people, you know, dying and, you know, just drug bills going bad and people going to jail. And that becomes your mentality. Like, you don't think that as you're growing, you think that you're professionally, you got your education now, you know, you've moved on beyond this. But you know that saying, you can take a person out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the person. A part of that is true, because that story stays with you. And if you find yourself on this journey of entrepreneur still not trusting the process, or still not wanting to take these risks, like getting business credit because, are they going to pull my credit and what they going to do with my stuff, then you need a mindset coach. And we need to talk about that, you know what I mean? And unpack these concerns emotionally and mentally so that you can start to accelerate, align, advance, and accelerate your life, because you're not there anymore, you know. And it ain't just in your education that we break free, but we have to break free of the chains in our minds that come from these backgrounds that
and holding us back.
That's holding us back. So you can have a degree all day, but you can still be mentally chained by an experience that you've had before. So now, even with a degree, you still an entry-level job, you know, but you paid $100,000 for this degree, you know, or you got a degree, but you can't even get a leadership position. So you at the planner somewhere, right?
Okay.
And it's really because you're mentally still stuck. And you thought that this degree or this education was going to break you free, and it didn't. You know, it's a deeper healing that needs to happen, you know, within us. I want to put that out there.
Hey, but like you said, it's all connected. It's all connected.
Yeah.
We talked about that last week, where you got to be at the right mind. You got to have the right mindset for it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Listen, this is really pretty cool, man. I know we adjusted the time. Hopefully this time works for everybody. I know normally it's a lot of people kind of watching around this time, especially up. I know you're in California, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you in is it California? Okay, so I know you guys are
Yes,
early on.
in California.
But I think this time would be cool, man. I know it was like a last minute here, but what I try to do, if something like that actually comes up, I let you guys know as soon as I know. And but now going forward, it won't really change. I'm gonna be on point when it comes to this. So let me put this out real quick here, because I didn't have the website. I think this is it right here, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. All right. Now, one thing you'll learn about me, if I do something wrong, I have no problem getting checked. Check me, man. You know what I'm saying? So if I say something I shouldn't say, check me. I ain't got no problem. I got no ego at all. So, and I really appreciate you guys coming on. I know you guys are entrepreneurs. You got a lot to do, but you guys coming on, man. Let's see if we can take this thing to the next level.
Yes.
You guys
Thanks
have
for
any
having
questions for me? Anytime. So what we're gonna do here, I'm gonna make sure this stuff goes out through all these different platforms for sure, and we'll repost it. So I think you're a part of the group now. So let's do it, man. Anything I can do, let me know. And I apologize, I'm kind of out of it. I've been up. That's too early, man. That's too early for God, man. I don't know why y'all getting up there.
What you say? You got a lot out of it. You got a lot out of it.
Listen. It's cool if I ain't had to do this afterwards, because I got to think. My mind, this all look blurry over here right now, man. You don't understand. So, and I'm hungry too. So, but I'll be right next week, man. I got it done. My whole system crashed. I got it back up right. Y'all was still talking. So y'all the rock stars out of this situation. So we really appreciate it. So, all right. Did y'all have fun?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, very good.
Will I be able to share this to one of my groups?
Please do.
Okay.
And if you go to all of our stuff, you share all of it you want to. Please do.
Okay.
Please do. Hey, so look at this back. That's the first part, man. We did the put the finger down entrepreneurship. And everybody was like this when it was over.
I missed that. Maybe that part wasn't for me, because I know I share my little stories. I probably would have been like this.
I think he asked more than 10 questions, but it's okay. He's running out of fingers.
I know it's the basketball game, because of your business, stuff like that. Put a finger down. But I thought it was pretty cool. Cool. So no, I told everybody. Well, I talked to you guys. I want to take it online. What we're gonna do next week, but I think it's gonna be pretty cool. What you think? What you think? Think it'll be okay, Miss Danielle? The topic we talked about.
I got you. I'm ready, man. As soon as we cut off.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. What'd you say now?
I like this time. I consider myself a teacher. I like being taught, a student of life. So it's definitely an opportunity for you to learn and teach. So it's it truly still is an investment for me this time, because being around like-minded people with a plethora of knowledge in different areas, I think helps to shift your perspective, and giving everybody a call. Like, I'm gonna reach out to Credit 909. I'm gonna reach out to Danielle.
Look, I want to reach out to you.
Reached out to Ashley last week, just to say, hey, I'm interested in more about what you do, and just growing and expanding and seeing what you guys got going on, and see if it's something that's a part of my journey, So, and I encourage the listeners to do the same. So, and I don't know if the listeners know that, we're all from different places, right? Like we come on this podcast all from different places, different backgrounds, haven't met each other, right? And so this is our first time, a lot of times, just meeting and speaking to one another, and so we're taking it in just like the audience sometimes.
Yeah, that's like that.
And we do have a lot more people, but me adjusting the time at the last second here kind of knocked everybody off a little bit. So we should be ready to go. We should have at least 9 to 10 people, well, 9 people for sure next Tuesday. So I'll be here a little early, ready to go, man. So I won't be out of that. No more than 3 o'clock stuff for me. That's over. So, all right. Hey, man, I appreciate it again. You guys go attack the rest of the week, and we'll see you guys Tuesday. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy your evening.
Let's do this real quick. What's your social media handles, man? I'm forgetting to do this for some reason. Y'all want to give y'all social media handles real quick? I see some on here already, but you want to give that out? Numbers, anything?
Mine's right there. DCDR Solutions. So it's at DCDR Solutions on Facebook, Instagram, all the major things. So.
And then mine is Credit 909. You can go to my website and you can actually access all of my social media handles through my website.
And then I'm Shaping Solutions. That's all of mine. I'm the relationship therapist and business psychologist, really helping individuals manage their emotions as they, accelerate their goals. So, if you're looking for a therapist, then
you gotta have that piece. That's important. They forget about that. It ain't all about
it's a healing process on the journey.
You gotta check yourself or you'll lose yourself.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a healing process that we all going through. Yeah. Like I said, as we go towards our goals and dreams, it just brings up a lot of stuff that some people don't know how to navigate. So I'm just like, hey, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys again. Please go on the Facebook group, tell everybody they missed it, man, and we'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. And then, we have that Stop It Now program coming out. That's focused on self-sabotage and procrastination, June 24th. And so it's a framework, Stop It Now, to really help you to get 3 things that's holding you back, that you need to stop so you can start living the life that you deserve. So I'm excited about that. A little nervous because it's my first time going online, but it's what I do every day. So it's exciting.
It's a Stop It Knowledge.
Stop It Now.
Stop It Now.
Yeah. Focusing on procrastination and self-sabotaging behaviors.
Yes.
I got a few people.
So every second Saturday of the month, we do me and Jason Seals, we do a REI MeetUp online. So if you guys want to learn a little bit about real estate, definitely tune into that. We also have on Mondays free social media training. So if you want to learn how to do your social media, definitely reach out. It's free, actually. Another thing we do, we got free Spanish classes too, Wednesdays and Fridays. Let me know. I'll give you guys a free link. Anybody listening on this, you definitely can do that as well. If you want to learn how to be a bird dog, real estate bird dog, reach out to me. We got that class going on Thursday. And that's about it, man. We got a lot of free stuff going on for you guys, man. Y'all tune in. Tell us something that you heard from the podcast. You get in free. How about that? So,
awesome.
All right.
Nice.
Right, guys. Howdy before we go. All right, you guys have a good one.
You too.
Thank you. You too. Okay.
Right.
MCA Back Office aims to help real estate wholesalers who have their 9-to-5 jobs, those who are busy with their businesses or family responsibilities, and even help students. MCA Back Office gives you leads, research comps, calculate offers for you. Basically, MCA be your back office. You can find them on Facebook. Just search MCA Back Office.